and share my screen. So I am Dr. Rosemary Hyde, and today we are working with reading pronunciation vocabulary as a skills program, leading to better scores on the TOEFL exam. This is class 1 of a session of 6 classes, and it will all be about reading, pronunciation, and vocabulary. And I expect you to learn to pronounce, to improve your pronunciation in English by doing this, to learn some words, and to learn reading comprehension, all of which are really good test-taking skills. So, going to slide 2. This text, like I said, is from the book, and it's about the chapter on how gestures, you talking with our hands, help us to think more clearly and to remember better what the person is talking about. So in order to improve our speaking ability, we also need to learn to practice talking with our hands. So there will be 4 of these paragraphs, and I'm going to just read it aloud first. When you are going through this, well, we'll go through it, and we're going to do different things with it. So first, just listen and pay attention to words that you don't already know, and write them down. Have a pen and paper so you can write down the words that you want to learn better.
Hello, Professor.
Hello, Kazi. How are you?
Yeah, Professor, doing fine. It's a long time.
Yes, it is.
It's been a long time to talk with you.
We'll talk after I finish this presentation, because we've got the recording.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So
Yes,
I'm going to read, add persuasive force to a presentation is just one role that gestures play in shaping the thinking that we do. Research demonstrates that gestures can enhance our memory by reinforcing the spoken word with visual and motor cues. It can free up our mental resources by offloading information from our brain onto our hands. And it can help us understand and express abstract ideas, especially those such as spatial concepts that are inadequately expressed by words alone. Moving our hands helps our brains to think more intelligently, and yet gesture is often scorned as hapless hand-waving or disparaged as showy or gauche. Okay, so first, what words if you're doing this on your own, you'll look it up in a dictionary, but we can speed that up a little bit. You can just tell me what words you would like an explanation of. Who has a word to share?
Gauge. Gouge.
Okay. Tell you what,
Gouge.
put your word into the chat. Gauche. Okay. That means awkward.
Awkward.
Basically, socially awkward. Not very smooth, not very competent, awkward. Snort, Kazi's word is snort means when you make a noise through your nose.
You should demonstrate it.
I should demonstrate it. I don't think I can very gracefully. Nancy made the sound in the background.
I'll give you a small.
That's the best I can do. Okay. That's a snort.
Professor,
Yes.
I have seen a guy has just come in beside you. Who was that guy?
Say that again, Kazi.
Who was that guy that has come in beside you?
Who was the guy who had some?
Who has come beside you?
Oh, that was Nancy.
Oh,
She's-
your grandson? Your grandson?
No, it's my partner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so disparaged means when you disparage someone or something, you're talking bad about them. You're, saying things about them that aren't nice. And Hughes, let's see, what was that? Cues, visual and motor cues. That means signals. And scorned. Yes, scorned means you look down on. You don't, when you scorn someone or something, you don't think very much of it. You look down on it. Evacuation. Can't type that word. Evacuation. Let's see where it's used. I want to make sure I got the right meaning of it.
Okay.
Word isn't in here. Okay, so got those words, right? You know what they mean. Is that correct? So we're going to read it aloud again. And pay attention to how everything is pronounced, because you're going to be next. Adding persuasive force to a presentation is just one role gestures play in shaping the thinking that we do. Research demonstrates that gestures can enhance our memory by reinforcing the spoken word with visual and motor cues. It can free up our mental resources by offloading information onto our hands, and it can help us understand and express abstract ideas, especially those such as spatial concepts that are inadequately expressed by words alone. Moving our hands helps our brains to think more intelligently. And yet, gesture is often scorned as hapless hand waving or disparaged as showy or gauche. Okay? Put your thumb up if you understand all the words now.
I have two that I'm not very sure. Hapless
Okay.
and showy.
Hapless and showy. Okay. Hapless means sad. Weak. And showy means way too dramatic.
Showy.
That was an
Okay.
example of, you kind of got the meaning from the gestures. Good. Okay. And Mahmoud, okay, if you're very new at English, yeah, I mean, even if you don't understand all the words, pick 3 or 4 of those so that you're going to adopt as your new words for the day. Okay? So,
Yes,
great.
yes,
Thank you.
ma'am.
So the last thing is to, having listened 2 or 3 times to me reading as a native speaker of English, the paragraph that we're using, I'm going to ask each of you to read a sentence and try to make it as close as possible to the native pronunciation. So the first sentence, who'd like to do it?
Professor, I want to say,
Okay, read it.
the first one,
One sentence.
anyone.
Start with the first sentence. Sorry.
Okay.
Read it aloud, right?
Adding persuasive force to a presentation is just one role, gestures play in shaping the thinking we do.
Good. Okay. Gestures. I'm not sure you said that word right. It's not a hard G, it's a soft G. Gestures.
Gestures.
Yes. So you can know that it's going to be a soft G by the letter that comes after it. If it's E or I, it will be J. If it's A, O, or U, it will be hard G, G.
Gestures.
When you're reading, if it's an I or an E, you just say J, gestures. Okay, second sentence. Yes, Orlando. Go.
Gesture. Gesture.
Okay. Okay.
Gesture. Hello. Yeah, Professor.
Go with the second sentence. Orlando.
Okay. Research demonstrates
Okay.
that gestures.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna repeat it.
Kazi, you need to be quiet while Orlando's reading, please.
Okay. Research demonstrates that gestures can enhance our memory by reinforcing the spoken words with visual and motor cues.
Good. Reinforcing.
Reinforcing.
Good. Excellent.
Reinforcing.
Okay. Abu, how about you for the third sentence?
Yes. It can free up our mental resources by offloading information onto our hands.
Okay. And Samaya, the fourth?
Professor, can I read again?
And it can help us understand and express abstract ideas, especially those such as spatial concepts that are inadequately expressed by words alone. Okay, Kareem, the fifth one.
Moving our hands helps our brains to think more intelligently, and yet gesture is often scorned as hapless hand waving or disparaged as showy or gauche.
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 That is actually a French word that's taken into English, and it's pronounced exactly like French, gauche. And helps our brains to think more intelligently.
Intelligently.
Say that. Think more intelligently. Say those three words. To think more intelligently. Kareem, I'm talking to you.
Sorry?
Can you please say those? There are three words that you kind of swallowed. To think more intelligently.
Think
Just
more
say-
intelligently.
Good, excellent. Okay, so these will be posted on the website and on the WhatsApp group. And you can go through them again between now and next week to get even better. Listen, replay, and work on your pronunciation. So here's another
Okay.
paragraph about gestures, and I will start out by reading it. Even now, gesture provides an alternative channel of communication, every bit as significant as the verbal one. Gestures exert a powerful impact on how we understand and remember our our interactions with others, but its influence operates largely below our awareness. We may still fail to notice a substantial proportion of the communication that is actually occurring. A profusion of extra verbal meaning is continually being offered and received. Okay, write down whatever words you don't understand completely. Put them in the chat. Okay, so Kazi, you've got substantiate. Find it. So I give you the are you sure you don't mean substantial? What I see there. And that means substantial proportion. And that's a phrase that we often use.
Could you please tell me the meaning of substantiate?
Substantial proportion. Substantial means a big. It means a lot of something. And a proportion.
Massive or huge? Is it the meaning of massive or huge?
Just gave you the meaning of
Massive or huge?
massive. Okay, yeah, that works. And
Yeah,
proportion is a share or a piece or amount. So we may still fail to notice a substantial proportion of the communication that is actually occurring. Okay? And awareness, okay, is consciousness. Profusion. Equals, again, a large amount. Okay,
Professor,
yes.
is depict or substantiate are similar meaning, are similar to each other?
Is what?
Depict, depict and substantiate are similar to each other?
Uh,
Depict
don't know.
and substantiate.
That's,
Are
I'm not
similar?
I'm not hearing a word that I understand. You might want to write it in the chat. Sound quality isn't always good enough. Here, and substantiate. They're similar, yeah. But let's focus on the words that are actually in the passage, okay? Substantiate wasn't. Substantial is the word. And substantial is an adverb, is an adjective, whereas substantiate is a verb, which means to demonstrate, to show. And substantial means a large amount. Okay? So,
Okay.
any other words? Okay, so let's start reading sentence by sentence. Kareem, would you like to start?
Okay. Even now, gesture provides an alternate channel of communication, every bit as significant as the verbal one.
Good, excellent. Okay, Abu?
Yes, gestures exert a powerful impact on how we understand and remember our interactions with others.
And Orlando.
But its influence operates largely below our awareness.
Below our awareness.
Awareness.
Yes. Okay, go on to the next sentence, Orlando.
We may still fail to notice a substantial proportion of the communication that is actually occurring.
Very good. Okay, who hasn't had a chance? Mahmoud, if you'd like, Assad.
Hello, hi.
Yes, go ahead, finish. Read the last
Uh,
sentence.
from where?
The last sentence, a perfusion.
Okay. Profusion of extra verbal meaning is continually being offered and received.
Okay, a
Again,
perfusion
underline.
of, no, don't worry about those. Those are just the directions. Notice they're in italics. But let's read that
Profusion.
sentence again.
Okay.
A profusion of extra-verbal meaning is continually being offered and received. Go ahead, you.
Again, underline and look up words you don't understand. Then read aloud and record your reading. Double check your pronunciation of each word and make sure it's very similar to what the native speaker said. Feel free to practice reading aloud multiple times practicing sounding as native as possible.
As native as possible.
Native as possible.
Yes, good. Okay, so there are, as you continue, there are through 2 more exercises with reading texts from this book. And for each one of these texts, I want you to follow the same process. Listen to it, read it aloud, and look up words so that you've learned the vocabulary, you've learned how to pronounce each word, and you've learned how to read it loud and what it means. So let's go back. I'm going to read the 3rd one and the 4th one so that you have them recorded. Here is the 3rd one. At times, gestures work with language to more richly specify the speaker's meaning or to clarify or emphasize what is being said. On other occasions, gesture supplies meaning that is not found anywhere in the speaker's words. I'm going to correct that right now. And at still other moments, gesture asserts meaning that contradicts or departs entirely from the speaker's verbal self-expression. Gesture conveys things we don't say, as well as we'll discover, gesture even conveys things we can't say because we don't yet have the words. And here's the 4th reading. All of us then are effectively bilingual. At least we speak one or more languages, but we are also fully fluent in gesture. Over the course of our species' evolutionary history, gesture was not superseded or replaced by spoken language. Rather, it maintained its place as talk's ever-present partner, one that is actually a step or 2 ahead of speech. So those are the 4 reading sections, and that's your homework. And then, once you have worked through all 4 passages, I want you to do a speaking exercise. And in 2 or 3 sentences, describe for us in your own words your new understanding about gesture and speech and how one assists the other. As you do this, once you've practiced it, record yourself and write down words you need to pronounce with a more native-like sound. As you perfect your pronunciation, record and listen again. When you feel happy with how you sound, add gestures to your presentation. Feel free to do this several times over to perfect it. Then record your presentation. You can do it on your telephone, for instance, or on your computer, about gestures and speech. 3 sentences, 2 or 3 sentences. Record your presentation about gestures and speech and share it with us on the WhatsApp list for this TOEFL class.